Hi, we're back with another Chats on the Mat. I'm Rhi.
I'm Kris.
That too. We're caffeinated and unscripted today, so
I was just going to say, that's an example of how this whole thing is going to go today, isn't it?
we'll see how it goes. Either
Yes.
way, you guys are here for it, so.
Yes. Cheers. Chink.
Okay, so we have, today we have things that we wish yoga students knew when they started yoga or when they're starting yoga, or really just what we wish we knew too.
Yeah, it's funny. I have a very different experience beginning yoga than you did, maybe. And I don't know your beginning of your experience other than teaching. Anyhow, I see people come into my classes, I see people come into the studio, and they always say the same thing. And so I thought it would be a really cool conversation for us to have from the other side of, wow, things we wish we knew when we started, because you come in with one mindset and then you experience it and it changes everything.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, why don't we rewind the clock X many years? I'm not going to out us on how old we are.
10.
Yeah. Somebody said I looked 12 yesterday, and I was like,
wow.
Thank you so much.
All right, I don't get that anymore.
I was like, I'll be 12 forever.
Yeah.
I'm the most ambitious 12-year-old you'll ever meet.
Right? Good job.
But let's rewind the clock a bit, and why don't you tell us about your starting of yoga and then your starting of going to classes?
Right. So my experience was very different than a lot of people coming to yoga, just because I've done yoga literally my whole life. I did yoga with my mom in my living room way back in the day. I was fortunate enough that my mom did yoga too. And so we had the black and white photo book, and we would just pull it off the bookshelf, and I would flip through and pick a picture, and then we would do the yoga pose. And so I literally have done yoga my whole life. And when I got into college, I kind of forgot about it a little bit, just because busy and college and life and things like that. And so when I got married, life became very stressful. I had my first job at a state hospital in psychiatry. I was a music therapist, and my body was breaking, and my stress was out of control. And I returned, I remembered. And so I came back, but never did I ever go to a yoga class. Never did I ever take yoga from somebody else. Never did I ever walk in to do yoga with somebody or have someone tell me how to practice. Right. My yoga practice had always been in my body, in my own way. Even when I was doing it with my mom, I would pick pictures and we would do it. So I didn't walk into a yoga class until I was in my 30s.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was at a Y, my local Y. Again, because I was losing my mind. We'd moved across the country. I had quit my job to stay at home with my kids. I had left a career that I absolutely loved, left all of my support systems, everything, and I was not doing well. And so I went into a yoga class, and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. It was literally, I came home and I said to my husband, I was like, this teacher doesn't know what she's doing. Too many downward dogs. It didn't make any sense. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. We spent way too much time in downward dog. I just didn't like it. I wanted to do my own. I gave it a chance and came back again. And literally that teacher is one of my very first mentors. I absolutely love her. She's an amazing teacher. She was actually the person that encouraged me to go into teacher training. So Purvi, shout out to you. Thank you, my friend. I don't know if you know that about you and me, but I hated your first class that I ever went to. Absolutely love you now. And I think that that's an example of kind of the conversation that I want to have, right? We have a one mindset, and we go and experience yoga, and then we have a different mindset. So that's my story. And then, I owned a yoga studio. I have built yoga communities. I teach yoga all the time. Yeah.
And now it's just kind of embedded in your life.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that that's important to, I think we've talked about this last, I almost called it session.
Yeah.
Therapist mode activated.
Yeah.
But last podcast episode, we talked about that it's this weird phenomena where people will find yoga and fall off and come back and find yoga and fall off. And it's not a requirement, but I do tend to notice that the people where yoga is embedded in their life, they hated it at first or fell off of it and then came back X amount of times. And I've heard of some YTT 300s making that a requirement. How many times have you found your practice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and and we talked about this with teacher training too. Uh, I won't. It would be hard pressed to accept a student into a 200-hour program of mine that didn't have a regular practice.
Right.
Just because of that, that experience of finding it, hating it, loving it, walking away from it, realizing what you're missing, coming back, that changes everything. And so once you have a regular practice, you've gone through at least some of that experience.
Exactly.
And that changes everything.
It really does.
Yeah. So what's your story?
So my story, I'm like a year sober. So I have like 11 years sober right now.
Congrats.
Thank you. That's what my shirt says. I've been cool since 2015.
Very nice. I like that. Well done.
So I had like a year sober, and I decided I was gonna get fit because I'm a skinny little string bean and a raging ball of fire at a year sober. And so I'm like, I'm not gonna calm my fire down. No, I'm gonna weight lift. So I start weightlifting. Let's do that. And so I start weightlifting, and I'm putting on some muscle, but my muscles are like very tight now. And so I went to this one weightlifting class, which was really fun. And it was like smaller weights, but like lots of repetition, and it was a toning class. And then directly after that, in the exact same room, was a yoga class. So I was like, you know what I'll do? I will do my weightlifting, and then I'll go to the weightlifting class, and then I will go to yoga to like help my stupid muscles.
Stretch it out.
Yeah, just help my stupid muscles.
Yep.
And so I go the first time, and I hated it. I
love that we both hated our first yoga classes.
Here's the thing, I continued to hate it. I kept going and I continued to hate it.
Yeah.
The only thing I liked is at the very end, she came by and she placed her hands on my shoulders and she pulled on my feet and she sprayed lavender over me.
Okay.
And I loved that part. That was great. But there was like a 70-year-old woman who sat next to me, and she could do the splits and pancake herself to the floor.
Yeah.
And she's like, I sleep like this sometimes. And I was like, I freaking hate you. I didn't like her. I practiced in my socks because I was like, people are going to look at my feet. I don't want people looking at my feet.
So many people feel that way. Oh my gosh, so many people feel that way. Yeah.
And everybody was so much better at it than me. I was so angry. This woman was so nice to me, and it just made me hate her more. The teacher was so kind, and I hid in the back, which, okay, as a teacher now, I despise when new people hide in the back.
It's like church. Everybody has to get in the back row.
And I'm like, hun, I can't see you. Like, now I gotta be here.
That's why I like flipping the room, right? Yeah. Like, because we did it in aerial last time we did aerial, and it was funny how like people came in, and sometimes I don't tell people. Like sometimes, and I used to do it when the class would be full. Like, I would wait and I would walk in, and then I would teach from there. Instead of there.
I'm going to do that
everybody
next time.
in the front was now in the back, and everybody in the back was now in the front, and it was too late for them to move because they'd already put their mats out and they were already there.
All the experienced yogis want to sit in the front, and I'm guilty of that. I like sitting in the front. It's easier for me to like mind my own business and like be in my own practice because my yoga teacher brain kicks on, and I'm like, oh, they should cue this like this because that person's going to hurt themselves. So I sit in the front, and I get that. But yeah, so I would always sit in the back with the 70-year-old woman who just, if it was a yoga competition, she annihilated me, you know? So I was very insecure every single class. And I did that for about 6 to 9 months. Didn't miss a class.
Good for you. Hated it the whole time?
The whole time, the entire time. And then I don't remember, I think I injured myself or got a really big tattoo and couldn't lift for like a week, and
that was it.
Fell off of it. And then I came back to it about a year and a half later. But this time I came back to it because I went to Temple of the Universe in Gainesville, Florida, because of my job made me take them. And I met Michael Single, shout out to Michael Single, and he got me into chanting.
Nice.
Which then got me into spirituality more. Yeah. I was still meditating throughout this whole time, but he got me into chanting, and then that got me back into some restorative yoga, and I fell in love with it again, and I loved it, and it was great, and then I fell off of it again.
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
And then the third time I came back, and like all of those things kind of clicked together for me, and just
third time's a charm.
Embedded itself into my life.
Yeah.
And then it was YTT 1, 2,
That's another thing I want to add to our list of things to talk about today is the spirituality of yoga.
Oh, yeah.
As people come into practice.
Yeah.
And the biases of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
We don't have to write it. It's all right. We'll remember it. I said it out loud. People will remember it for us.
If you don't, comment and let us know.
And we'll do a whole nother podcast. That's like a whole conversation too. But
so yeah, that was kind of my story in a nutshell when it comes to first coming into yoga.
Yep. So okay, like I said, when I ran my studio, as I teach my classes, even now still, as I have conversations with people always say the same thing. They always are like, oh, I want to work on my body. I want to get the yoga butt, and I want to get the yoga body, and I want to get stronger this way, and I want to get flexible, but I can't touch my toes, so I can't do yoga, or all those kind of things. And it's interesting to me how almost everybody walks into the yoga classroom, and I won't even say studio, for the first time because of the physical body, right? And it's interesting to me, the duality of that, where a lot of people don't ever walk into the yoga classroom because of the physical body.
Oh yeah, I can't do yoga. I'm not flexible enough.
Right.
Yeah, that's the number one thing that I hear, and I'm like, oh, yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah, and and I mean that's a bigger conversation too. Like, and I love that because the stories that we put in front of ourselves to limit ourselves to keep us safe and whatever. That's a whole other podcast. But my response to that is always when someone's like, oh, I can't touch my toes. It's like, yeah, you can. Just bend your knees. Right? And I think that is such a great example of what yoga gives you, because people walk into the practice room with one goal in mind. It's physically fit body. And they get on their mats and lots of things happen. Lots of emotions come up, which we can talk about, and again in a minute too, because I think that's something we want to address. And then they understand it in a different way, right? And so I think the beginning of that conversation, what I want people to take as they start a yoga class, what I wish people knew and what I wish I had known was that it doesn't have to be a specific way.
Yes.
Like, just be open to the experience. Just walk in and let whatever happens happen.
Yeah, I know that I tell like my students, especially in my Thursday donation-based class, when I'm like, you can take this option, you can take this. So I always start with the most accessible option. And then I go, if you're wanting a little bit more, if you're wanting it more. And then I pause, usually right then and there, and say, it does not matter if you look like this or this.
Yep.
If you feel the stretch, you're getting the exact same benefit as if somebody was, for example, touching their toes in a forward fold, or if you're just
proud of you,
hand at your shin. Right? Because you're getting the same benefit. It does not matter what you look like.
Correct.
If you feel the stretch, you're getting it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, and that's so hard for people to understand and to get past, I think, because we are such externally approved creatures that we have to look a certain way. And I mean, in Instagram yogis and, everywhere is just body image and yogis standing on their heads and doing these crazy aerial stunts and shit, and like, oh, there's a curse word. I was trying so hard.
I love it. They like it when you cuss.
I'm trying really hard not to today, because there's a lot of editing, and I get that. So
I'm not editing the cuss words out. They like it. You're bringing our viewers up.
Okay, fantastic. Well, that is a relief for me. Thank you all very much.
A cussing yogi is like, they love it. So.
And so people walk in with that expectation of, I'm going to be next to the 75-year-old that can fall into splits and fold herself in half, right?
Yeah.
And okay, maybe, but it doesn't freaking care, because it doesn't matter, because like you said, if you're feeling the stretch, that's what it's about. And nobody who's been practicing is looking at you.
And I can be honest with you and say, like, because yoga is more than the physical, right? And this is kind of moving into that. But because yoga is more than the physical, you are getting more out of the experience of going, oh, why can't I? That 75-year-old woman's doing the splits and I can't. I can't.
Yes.
You're getting way more out of your yoga experience right now than you would if you could do the splits.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so let's talk about that next piece, right? Like, so, one thing I wish people knew when they started was that it doesn't really matter. Just be open to the experience. And then talk about what happens when you get on your mat.
Yeah.
Because we have all been there. All of us that are yogis and have been practicing, like, we've all freaking been there.
Yeah. For sure. I think this last time I came back to yoga, especially, I was going through a divorce, a guardianship case. It was an absolute mess.
Yep.
Like, I could go into that, but I won't, because that's not the point. But my life was in turmoil. I was very traumatized, and I was very much not wanting to sit still.
Yeah.
I was like, if I sit still,
Yeah.
it was at the point I was so
get real.
disconnected from my body. I have an overreaction to stress. And so I break out in hives if I'm stressed. They start on my hands, feet, and then they...
I have hives on my fingers right
Yeah, it's dihydrotic eczema is what I've been told. So it like creeps up and then, yeah, it's a whole thing. And so I was having that, but I wasn't feeling stressed. And I remember telling my therapist, like, I'm handling this so well. And she's like, you're working from home right now because you have hives on your feet and can't put shoes on.
So you're not handling it well.
Like, you're just disconnected.
Your body is telling you.
Yeah. So your body's having a whole meltdown.
Yeah.
And so I remember going to yoga and getting into hip work and doing like a gentle restorative class, doing my hip work, and it's very chill. The lights are dim. Nobody can see you.
Yeah.
And my daughter and I were there, and then like 3 classes into doing hip work, I just like looked into this mural that was on the studio wall, and I just was crying.
Yep.
And I was like, what is
Welcome to
happening?
hips.
And also, as a yoga teacher, I love making people cry.
Yeah, for real.
It's the best. It's the best compliment. It's that one and people sleeping in Shavasana.
Oh,
Those are
yeah,
my 2
seriously.
favorites.
The snorers, oh, bring it.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, got him. Like, got him. So that's one of the things, you know, I've been angry on my mat. I've been sad on my mat. I have fallen asleep in child's pose, right? Like, I have felt grief on my mat. I have giggled randomly on my mat. Every emotion that you could think to feel, I have felt on my mat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and that's not abnormal. I mean, I think any of us that have done yoga have been there. Like, this is a physical practice, but understanding, and I mean, this is what I do, right? Understanding the physical body and the subtleties of the physical body and the link to the nervous system and the reaction of the nervous system to physical movement of the body elicits emotion.
Yes.
So the thing that you should know when you start a yoga practice is that it's going to get ugly and you're probably going to cry in your mat at some point. And that's okay, because we've all been there.
Oh, for sure.
And you're going to get mad and hate your teacher like both of us have. And then you're going to laugh. I had a woman in class that would come and she would just laugh uncontrollably.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just, it's that bubbling up of emotion, and that's your nervous system responding to a safe space and to being seen and moving in a different way, right?
Yes, I had, especially when I taught all men, very, very diverse reactions in class. You know, like some would try to exclaim out inappropriate things because I have them in down dog.
Uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yep, I have them in down dog in a room of 15 men.
Yeah.
Like, that's uncomfortable for men.
Yeah.
Well, for some men. And I've had, you know, big, little people in gangs, right? Sit down and bawl their eyes out in my class, and then come to me after and be like, what have you done to me?
Yeah, I'm broken.
And then I had this one guy who would giggle uncontrollably the whole time. And so I'd have one guy crying for the first time in 12 years and one guy giggling. And I'm just like, hey, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, this is what happens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I find that really interesting, like, when people come in and they were like, what's going on? But also that feeling of, like, inadequacy if you're a perfectionist like me. And I'm competitive.
Yeah.
I've always been competitive.
Yeah.
And going into a sport, right? We think of yoga as like a group sport type thing. I went in with this, like, I'm going to win yoga. And I think everybody falls victim to that.
Yep.
Even still, like the Instagram yogi, I want to do a handstand.
Right. Right.
I can still not do a handstand.
I'm so over that. Like, who the fuck cares?
I want to so bad.
There's another curse word for y'all, right? So, like, yeah.
But it's the ego, right? Like,
it
what
is the
shows
ego.
up on the mat shows up in real life.
100%.
And if I can't be happy with where I'm at right now and have acceptance, and I think that's one of the things that my yoga practice has taught me now is learning how to be like, I'm not there yet, and that's okay.
Right. And, you know, it's interesting as a teacher too, because you can see that, and it's really interesting to watch how that ego changes the dynamic of a room as you teach too, right? Like, I am one to poke at people. Surprise. And there are, every once in a while in a class, like if I'm teaching a physical class, it's hard to do online, but in a physical class, someone walks in with an ego.
You can tell, yeah.
Right? And you can feel the dynamic shift because you have regulars in class and they come together and they're all in the practice and they're all chill with whatever happens and they're all supportive of each other and it's a community, right? And then one person walks in and the ego is there. And I am one to make that ego very uncomfortable.
Yep, me too.
Because, and that's probably not necessarily supportive of me as a teacher, but at the same time, that's the whole point of the class, right? Like that's the whole point of being there. And it's a fine line of telling people, yeah, you're going to cry in your mat when you walk in, because a lot of people won't walk in because they don't feel comfortable letting it go like that. But at the same time, that is such a beautiful release and a different way to connect with yourself. And if you're walking in with those defenses already up, one, you're not going to get what you need out of that practice, which pisses me the fuck off. Two, you are disrupting the energy of the whole community and the acceptance of each other. And so I'm gonna push back at that a little bit.
Well, and it's dangerous, right? So like if you're trying to do the most extreme in every single pose, you will eventually hurt yourself.
Right.
And I remember one of the rehabs that I taught at, I had these two at the same time bodybuilders in my class. And they were both very competitive with each other. They were good friends. They grew up together. And I really hope they're listening because this is so funny. And I kept saying, you can stay here. Here's the next one. Here's the next one. And I would stop right there. Like I would never give them the most extreme.
Right.
And I would watch these guys like grimace to get to the next one.
Right.
And then I would be like, okay, here's the next one then.
Yeah.
And finally, after like 5 weeks of this, I just went, okay, play with me, right? Let me humble you really quick because I have long limbs and I'm flexy. Right. Like, so
your hamstrings are super tight. You're never going to get there.
You're not going to get there.
They're never going to get there. Yeah.
So we're like in, I think we're in like warrior 2 to side angle and then like drop the hand and then take the bind. Yeah. And so I'm like, hey, warrior 2 in side angle and you can stay here or you can drop your hand to a block. Or we didn't have blocks because we have yoga, but drop your hand to the floor. And they're like grimacing now, but they're, they're trying, their teeth are gutted. And I'm like, you can stop here. You
can take the bind.
I said, if you've gone too far, you can always back out. And they wouldn't. And I was like, all right, fine, you can take the bind. And they were like, nope. And then they backed all the way back out into side angle. Yeah. And then they stopped doing that.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I will do this to you until you stop. Because you're going to hurt yourself. Right. And this is a good place. Like, you're not going to hurt yourself too much in side angle.
Well, and you also are knowledgeable. And that's the other thing, too, is like, when we talk about poking people, right? Like, I'm not going to put anyone in a dangerous situation. No. Like, I'm not going to let anyone move their body. And I will. I mean, everybody who's practiced with me knows, like, I am firm when I need to be like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Like we're doing this instead, or I'll just back the whole class out.
Me too. Yep.
So we don't even go there because, it's not like I'm going to make someone hurt themselves. I'm not going to push someone because that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother conversation about teachers and safety and trust.
Right.
Mine is going to, what I like to do is make that person uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's what I did.
That they have to think about themselves instead of everyone around them.
Yes.
Which is really interesting. So yeah, it's a wild game to play.
It is.
And and the wild part too is like, I mean, anyone in a class with me has heard me say, I am not the boss of you. Like I am not the boss of them.
Nope.
I am here for suggestions, but then there comes a point too where I am the curator of this experience.
And I'm not going to have you hurt yourself.
Correct.
If possible. And also, welcome to the actual practice of yoga.
That is exactly it. That's
you just
point.
Confronted your ego. And then that was so cool because the weeks following, I could see them actually settle into themselves.
And look, it's not a physical practice.
Nope.
I mean, it's very physical, but that wasn't the point, right? Yeah. And so again, like, what do I wish people knew as they walked in, right? It's
you
so
will
much
not
more
win
than
at yoga.
Yeah, like it. Yeah, exactly. So I want to talk a little bit about that concept, that belief of like spirituality of yoga, right? And like have a little bit of a conversation about that, because again, people either come or don't come. A lot of times people don't come to yoga because they think it's a religion or it's spiritual or whatever. And I have a lot of feelings and thoughts about this because there's a spiritual side to it.
Yeah.
Right? Like you are a very spiritual yogi. I understand and teach the spiritual aspects of yoga. I have a very personal relationship with that, but that is not how I teach. That doesn't lead my teaching, I guess, right? Yeah. It's a foundation of who I am. And so that comes into play, but it's not shared with others. And so yoga can be a spiritual practice. And, I think this would be another great podcast episode, right? Of the spirituality of yoga and the appropriation of the practice in Western society and kind of what that means.
There's a lot of hot takes in that too. I would love to talk about that.
Yeah, I think we could have several episodes of that. But coming in, we're in the middle of Michigan, right? We're in the Midwest. And, your studio is a wellness center and a community place. My community is online, and it's a community, and it's about that. We talk about aspects of philosophy of yoga. It is not a religious practice,
right?
Especially here, right? And so I think that can sometimes be a misconception of, oh, we're going to come in and we're going to chant to all of the gods and the deities. And I mean, like, fuck yeah. Ganesha is my bitch sometimes, especially right now, like that was a lot of cuss words.
You really, I don't think Ganesh is all up in your life right now. I think it's Shiva.
No, it's Kali. 100%
It's Kali.
Kali.
Oh
my God, 100% Kali. Like she is on my altar right now and shit like that. Again, like there's that religious, that spiritual practice, right? Like it's not an altar. It is my focus table in my office where I have my little statue and I have my sand and I don't have any stones in it right now because like I don't need any of that, right? And so like it's just a focus place. But again, like you hear those words, language is the context with which we agree to communicate. And you hear those words and there's biases there. And I wish people knew that there didn't have to be biases around religion and the spirituality and the philosophy of yoga. For me, it's not even the spirituality of it, it is the philosophy of yoga.
Right.
Yes, yoga is a religious system.
Yes, it can be, yeah.
But especially in Western society and most places that you go, it's not going to be.
Yeah, I like to think there's only one class that I teach a week that it does incorporate a lot more of that, and it's my hatha class, of course, because that's deeply rooted in the philosophy of yoga. But all the other classes that I teach are very much a choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
If there's spirituality that you're looking for, you can find it. If within that class. But if you're just coming because you need a stretch, cool, right? We don't. Right. The only Sanskrit word that we will use is in poses because I'm a traditional yogi and I like saying them both. But it will also be, so I'll say like Tadasana, mountain pose.
Right.
I'll say both. Right. Because for a whole other reason that we can get into with the spirituality episode. But the only one that I actually say like consistently is Namaste at the end. Yeah. Just to honor the lineage. Yep. But there's no chanting.
Don't get me wrong. In teacher training, like there's a module where you have to teach in Sanskrit.
I love it.
And people have to take the class in Sanskrit. Mostly because it's like the context in which we are learning this practice, we have to respect where it's come from.
Yes.
You don't ever have to use Sanskrit in your teaching. In fact, I encourage most people in teacher training and where they're going with it not to, because it's not accessible, right? And then it makes it feel foreign, and which literally it is, and like inaccessible. And that's not the point of it. But we have to respect the tradition of it. Yeah. And so, like I'm going to make my teachers teach in Sanskrit, like, because that's part of what yoga actually is.
And I love it. I think there's something really beautiful about, like, here I am saying Tadasana, right? And 100 years ago, 100 years before that, 100 years before that. And so it makes me feel very connected to this lineage of people who passed down yoga, and that we are now carrying the torch to pass down yoga to other people, whether they become teachers or students or whatever. Like we're keeping that alive, and there's something really endearing about that. Like my father's passed that down to me. Not my mother's, because that's a whole nother messed up history of yoga, but we're not getting into that today.
Again, that's a whole other podcast. Yep, totally. So, and okay, so this makes me think of one more thing that I want to talk about in this, like what I wish people knew beforehand. You're just like finding a therapist, which I support therapy. Go to therapy. Everybody needs therapy. Fucking do it. You'll feel better. Your first one may not be the one that you connect with.
Yep.
Shop around. It's okay to shop around. Try different classes, try different teachers, go to different places, find different studios, find different classes, places to do yoga. Like the first class you walk into may not be the one that resonates with you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Don't settle, I think is what I want people to know.
Yes. I would say that too. Like make sure that you're going to a bunch of different kinds of yoga, right? Like you don't have to find a hatha class and be like, I'm hatha yoga now.
Right.
You don't have to find vinyasa or ashtanga. Like go play.
Right.
Because there's so much to be doing.
Yep. Yeah. And like, you know, people have always asked me like, what kind of yoga do you teach? I'm like, Kris yoga. Like, I don't really, I mean, it's kind of vinyasa, but it's really not. And now I have like Kundalini Kriyas thrown in there and a ton of somatic stuff. And like, it's even less one style because I've experienced all of them.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm trained in most of them too. And so that makes a difference as well. But like, yeah, take your time to really find the place that you belong. And, you know, having my studio, people would walk into my studio and you're probably starting to have the same experience of they've walked in and they take a class and they're like, oh, I've taken yoga at all these different places and I feel like I fit in here.
Yep. That happens. I do a donation-based class out like 30 miles from here. I don't know how I ended up doing that, but anyway, I'm doing it. And
you have a plan for that.
It's a whole. I created a plan out of it. And there's this yogi who she said she's been practicing for 15 years, 15 or 20 years. I can't remember. And she's like, that was the best class I've ever been to. And I was like, yes, yes. Right. And it's all it is just like my mix between like my Friday and my Thursday class.
Yep. Well, and again, going back to what we started with of like what I wish people knew, it's not the physical practice per se. I'm sure it is because you make it accessible and successful. It feels successful, but it's so much more than that. It's the community. It's the being seen. It's the trauma-informed supportive language. It's all of the things that you do to make people feel like they belong.
Yeah, because they do.
Yep.
If they want to be here, they can. I'm going to find a way to make sure that they feel welcome here and safe. And that's the other thing. Like, I want to be a little spicy for a second.
Do it.
Okay.
Bring it. I mean, I've been spicy for a while now.
How do I say this? There's a lot of not great things that come from the yoga community sometimes. Like, and this has been going on for a long, long time. Like, you know, I'm going to say his name, Bikram, right? Like, we know Bikram, we know all these like gurus that have, not every yoga teacher should be left alone in a room with students.
Right.
Whether that be for physical reasons, whether it be, you know, for unethical reasons.
Yeah.
And so, like, one of the things I want people to know when they go to their first yoga class is, like, maybe we do another episode on this, but your yoga teacher should not want to date you. Okay? If your yoga teacher wants to date you, that is a red flag in and of itself.
Yeah.
Or, you know, there's a professionalism there that needs to happen, and you're not going to yoga to pick up a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a partner or whatever. You're going to connect with yourself. You
might be, but if it's the teacher that's coming on to you, question that.
Yeah. Yeah. Question that.
And okay, and here's the thing too, like I can add to that. Yes, 100% agree with that. In teacher training, like we talk about this, right? Like things happen, life happens, right? Like life happens. I get that. People fall in love all of the time. They have relationships all of the time. As the teacher, you are in a different level of relationship with students, and there's power. There's a power dynamic. And it is your responsibility to control that power dynamic and not take advantage of it.
For sure, because we just talked about, it's more than a physical practice.
Correct.
And you can have things come up emotionally.
Yep.
You're in a very vulnerable spot. You're
Yep.
very seen. You're being watched by your
Yep.
teacher.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you have this catharsis
Right.
relief.
Right.
And you
Right.
students may project that onto this person makes me feel good.
Yes.
No, you made you feel good.
Yeah, and that's where I was going with that, right? Like, I've had many different times where students have been attracted to me because of the experience that they have in class, and it's my responsibility to keep that boundary.
Yes.
Because they are vulnerable, and that if I take advantage of it, it is not a safe place.
Right.
And it feels strong. I mean, that connection feels intense, right? Like, we're vulnerable and we're finally seen and we're expressing, and this teacher is supporting that. And, like that, those wires get crossed very easily. And it's the teacher's responsibility. And so, yeah, like, and this, I think, is a bigger conversation that we're having in many different worlds right now. Like, I am in the midst of some of this in jiu-jitsu right now in my world, and it really fucking sucks. And like, the thing I think that is important to say, trust your gut. And if it doesn't feel right, it isn't.
Yes.
No matter what anyone says to you, or no matter how anyone reacts to it, you have authority and autonomy to say no and to remove yourself or to put a boundary in. I also think that, how do I want to say it? As teachers and as like studio owners and as guides, like, it's easy to put ourselves on pedestals and that guru syndrome kind of thing, right? And it happens not just in yoga, it happens everywhere, right? And I think that traditionally patriarchal society ignores it, right? And this, again, is another podcast. But as you walk into yoga classes, what I wish people knew was that you have body autonomy, trust your guts. It's going to be emotional, and you have every right to say no and hold a boundary, no matter what.
Yes.
And if it's not respected, that's your flag to run away.
Yep.
There will be other places to do yoga.
Yeah, for sure. There's plenty. There's plenty.
Come do yoga with us.
I promise to try not to date you.
Yes.
There was no try, only do. I don't date students.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, right? I mean, and things happen, right? And like, the conversation I have with teachers in my teacher training is just that, right? Like, things happen. People fall in love. Do it, like, go really fucking slow with it. Like, and it can't be you initiating it as the teacher, and do it outside of the studio.
And then talk
like,
to your studio owner too, and be like, hey, let's move classes, schedules, whatever. Like, make sure that power dynamic is
correct.
Thank God I haven't had to deal with that. I'd be like, Kris.
It sucks. It sucks.
Kris, help.
Yeah. No, well, it sucks. And I mean, and as a studio owner, I mean, because I've had to deal with that, right? Like, it's like, this can't be here.
Right.
Period. Like, it can't be here. Yeah. And I've had to be the mean one, the mom, who's like, this can't be in the studio. It's fine out there. It cannot be in the studio. And, they're like, we're fine. We're adults, blah, 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 blah. Well, and I said to these people, what happens when it's over? Who gets to stay and who has to leave?
Yeah. And I'm not doing it. Yeah.
And they were like, it won't be over, blah, 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 we're in love. Well, it was over. And then, unfortunately, which really fucking pissed me off, she was the one who left.
Yes.
Because he got to stay.
Yeah. I think we're making yoga sound very scary right now, but
yeah. And this is another conversation.
Yeah, but I want to talk about yoga from YouTube.
Oh, I love that. All right.
Yeah, yoga from YouTube. I like home practices. Right? Thank God I know enough that I don't want to chill out on YouTube. But I have people say this all the time. I'm like, do you do yoga? And they're like, yeah, I do YouTube. Right? And I want to hear your thoughts on what's the difference between yoga on YouTube versus yoga in a studio.
Okay. So there are some great YouTube sites. Yoga with Adrienne.
I love yoga with Adrienne.
Shout out to Yoga with Adrienne. Yeah. Cosmic Kids. Freaking love that. have a couple friends that have some YouTube channels that do a little bit of yoga that are niched, which I'm not going to speak to right now. And I think that you asked me this for a reason. So I think that it can be extremely dangerous. I think that it can be a lot of fun. I think that everybody and their brother can do yoga on YouTube and put up classes on YouTube and make some money on YouTube. And I think going back to what we talked about at the beginning, like that is a physical practice. And I think, like you said, when you have enough knowledge, you can benefit from it and really use that to your advantage. I'm a little biased because people get hurt because they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
And so, you know, I think there's some benefit to it because having a home practice, like the accountability is really hard, and like showing up for yourself on your own is really hard. So if you have a YouTube video you can put on and do yoga, chances are you'll probably do more of it.
Yes.
But make sure it's someone who is vested and knows what they're doing.
Yes.
How about that? Is that the answer you were looking for?
I honestly just wanted to hear your thoughts because it's something that I hear a lot. It's like, why would I go to a class when I can do it for free on YouTube?
Yep.
And
so that's a different question.
Yeah, what's the difference experience here?
That's a different question than the first one you asked. So why would I go to a class in a studio versus a class on YouTube? Because just like what we've been talking about, like you walk into a class and I'm going to see you, I'm going to see your body, I'm going to see how you're moving, I'm going to see you crying on your mat, and I'm going to respond to that. You are going to get an individualized experience within a group setting versus a YouTube video that's like, and now we're going to celebrate the new moon in Taurus and go. Right? Like, and you know, I'm not going to lie, like I've done shit like that. I have a lot of those videos up on my YouTube channel. I don't do them anymore because I don't want that experience for myself as a teacher. I love the feedback of having people. And so when you do a video on YouTube, you're doing a video on YouTube.
They cannot see you. They are not talking to you.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And so, you know, like, and the cueing drives me absolutely batty. Like, swan dive, what the fuck does that mean?
This is the second episode in a row you've mentioned swan dives, and we're going to have to do an episode.
That is like a technical episode of like teaching like cueing and shit like that.
We have that in our list as a technical
things
episode.
Yoga teachers say that make absolutely no sense. God, there's so much of it.
She's coming for you guys. I think
spicy.
This is something that every student should know. If a yoga teacher has put people in a pose, right? We say like one warrior one, right? And in that pose, they say, keeping that front knee bent. They're talking to you. There's a reason that they came back to that pose, and maybe they're not talking to you, but there's somebody in the room.
Yourself.
Don't go looking around the room. We're not tattletelling.
No, it's more check yourself.
It's check yourself. I don't be like, ooh, somebody's knee's not bent.
Check yourself, yeah.
But the reason we come back to a cue is typically because of safety.
Yeah.
Right? Like if I'm saying, make sure that knee's bent, you know, point the knee towards the baby toes. It's because I want you to open that knee out.
Yeah.
So you're not putting a bunch of damage into your meniscus. And that's the little spot in your knee for online listeners who can't see the video. I'm pointing to the inside of my knee.
Yeah.
But if your teacher comes back to a cue, it is because somebody in the room is probably not being safe. Don't look, we're not tattletaling, but maybe check yourself. Yeah. And that's actually one of the benefits that you get from an in-person class. Because online, you can be doing yoga for 20 years and never, ever get the feedback of, oh my goodness, let me do this micro adjust.
Right.
Oh, wow, that changed the entire posture.
Why do my shoulders always hurt in chaturanga? Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's actually one of the things is I have an impingement in my shoulder, partially because I have chaturanga downed wrong for 10 years. And I have a shoulder impingement that I have tried to rehab 3 times. I'm going to give it 1 more because I don't want surgery. But eventually, the surgery will be likely, and I want a yoga studio. So that's very inconvenient. And this is one of the things that in-person classes can help with is
Right.
long-term injury from yoga
Right.
can be avoided.
Right.
If you
And
listen.
your practice will go deeper because we see that and we lead you into that. I mean,
And if the vibe in the room comes down in child's pose, I'll hold you in child's pose longer.
yeah.
I'll be like, hey, just sit with yourself a little bit longer.
Yeah, let it go.
Just take a few more breaths, you
Yeah.
know?
Very much so. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I feel like we've talked about a lot of things.
I do. I think we should recap them because now I feel like lost in the sauce.
Things we wish you knew before you walked into a yoga class.
Nobody's looking at you.
Nobody's looking at you, and let the experience just happen, right? It's going to be emotional, chances are.
Yeah.
You may not find your class the first time, and you have body autonomy no matter what, the ability to say no thank you and to do something different at any point. It's not necessarily a spiritual practice unless you want it to be. What am I forgetting?
Nobody gets a trophy in yoga. You're not
yeah.
here to win it.
Yeah. Not in it to win it.
You're not in it to win it. I don't give out trophies, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. And have good boundaries. Right? Like be there for yourself.
Yep.
And be there for community.
Which is really hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard, but that's why we do yoga.
Okay.
All right.
Episode 2 done.
Yay.
Thanks for listening, guys. I'll see you guys next week.
Bye, friends.